Now, I want to get back to Hillary Clinton, as painful as that is for all of us, and yet the Democrats are really excited about her. That just tells you what's with the Democrats. I want to remind you, Section 793 of the Espionage Act. Ooh, the Espionage Act, Mark? Yes, the Espionage Act. Section 793 of the Penal Code. And I'm sure Politico, the New York Times, Slimes that is, the Washington Compost will all get on top of this. Subsection F. Whoever being entrusted with or having lawful possession or control of any document, writing, code book, signal book, sketch, photograph, photographic negative, blueprint, plan, map, model, instrument, appliance, note, or information relating to the national defense, subset 1, through gross negligence permits the same to be removed from its proper place of custody or delivered to anyone in violation of his trust or to be lost or stolen, abstract, destroyed, while they serve prison time and they pay a hell of a lot of money. This is what Hillary Clinton did. It's through gross negligence. Now, why isn't there a federal grand jury investigating this woman? Why isn't she giving testimony under oath without a lawyer? Hillary likes that because she tried that on Nixon, but she tried that during the Watergate hearings in the House, and they said, no, he gets a lawyer, Hillary, for crying out loud. Well, in front of the grand jury, you don't. Hey, Hillary should know that. She's been in front of enough grand juries. But she's a liar. She's a serial liar. And in my view, if there was any justice left in Washington, D.C., she'd be doing 30, 40, 50 years for her violations of the Espionage Act. Over here at the Washington Free Beacon, they point out that Hillary Clinton signed NDA. Now, what's NDA? Sensitive Compartmented Information Non-Disclosure Agreement. As the nation's chief diplomat, Hillary Clinton was responsible for ascertaining whether information in her possession was classified and acknowledged that negligent handling of that information could jeopardize national security, according to a copy of an agreement she signed upon taking the job. So this puts the exclamation mark behind it, folks. A day after assuming office as Secretary of State, she signed a sensitive compartmented information non-disclosure agreement that laid out criminal penalties for any unauthorized disclosure of classified information. And I just laid it out for you, the Section 793 of the Espionage Act. Experts have guessed that Clinton signed an agreement, but a copy of her specific contract, obtained by the Competitive Enterprise Institute through an open records request and shared with the Washington Free Beacon, reveals for the first time the exact language of the contract. Quote, I have been advised that the unauthorized disclosure, unauthorized retention, or negligent handling of SCI by me could cause irreparable injury to the United States or to be used to the advantage of a foreign nation, the agreement states. Clinton received at least 2 emails while Secretary of State on her personal email server since marked TS, that's top secret, SCI, sensitive compartmented information, according to the U.S. Intelligence Community's Inspector General. Well, there's 2 counts right there. State Department said in September Clinton's private email system set up at her Chappaqua, New York home was not authorized to handle sensitive compartmented information. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it seems to me Hillary has a problem. But America has a problem because the Department of Injustice is corrupt. The United States Attorney for the Washington, D.C. District is AWOL. The Public Integrity Section of the Justice Department, which would be involved in this case, hasn't said or done a damn thing. And, of course, the President of the United States is busy saying that whatever emails she had on her private server with his name on it, she's not allowed to release. Full cover-up mode by the Obama administration. Full cover-up mode, just as they had a full cover-up mode with the IRS. I've called this soft tyranny. I didn't invent it. Alexis de Tocqueville invented the phrase. I've used it in my books. I've used it on the air for years. That's what it is. It's a soft tyranny and a growing tyranny. And, of course, this is a little bit more important than what day Ben Carson had lunch with General Westmoreland, but not to the left press. The left press is there, remember, to grow the government. They're part of the government. To protect the Democrats, they're part of the Democrat Party. They're part of all this. You got to look at the media basically as the press operation for the Democrat Party, and the Democrat Party as the government, as I've been explaining time and time and time again. The language of her NDA, non-disclosure agreement, suggests it was Clinton's responsibility to ascertain whether information shared through her private email server was in fact classified. The agreement says, quote, I understand it's my responsibility to consult with appropriate management authorities in the department in order to ensure that I know whether information or material within my knowledge or control that I have reason to believe might be SCI. Remember, SCI, sensitive compartmented information. I don't believe it gets higher than that. The Clinton campaign did not immediately respond to a request for comment on the NDA. According to government security experts, the type of information that receives a TS/SCI designation is sensitive enough that most senior government officials would immediately recognize it. Look, she knew exactly what she was doing. She didn't want her emails being subject to FOIA. She didn't want her emails being subject to subpoenas, to investigations. She's not a great lawyer. She's a bit of a clod. And she was trying to figure out the best way to do this, and she had it set up in her home. Does anybody else ever do this? Did anyone else do this? I'm not aware of it. And then in the same outstanding website, the Washington Free Beacon, and this is related, by Lachlan Markay, malicious actors routinely attempted to hack the personal email accounts of senior State Department officials during Hillary Clinton's tenure as the nation's chief diplomat, an internal memo reveals. So she knew. She knew that there were constant efforts to hack into their system. And she didn't care. The February 2011 memo obtained by the Competitive Enterprise Institute again warned of a dramatic increase in attempts by, quote, then they redact the language, to compromise the private home email accounts of senior State Department officials. That would be Hillary. All of Hillary's official email communications as Secretary of State took place through a personal email address housed on a home brew server in her Chappaqua, New York home. According to the memo written specifically for Clinton by Eric Boswell, then the State Department's top diplomatic security official, the unnamed hackers were attempting to breach officials' emails via a technique known as phishing, P-H-I-S-H-I-N-G. The memo says specifically the actors are sending cleverly forged emails to victims' private web-based accounts, Gmail, Hotmail, Yahoo, he wrote. These spear phishing messages appear to be sent by U.S. government officials, but are designed to trick recipients into activating embedded malicious code by clicking on an attachment or link. Now, you know Hillary, being the genius that she is, undoubtedly did this, or may well have done it. It's not clear that she was the target, but it's certainly clear to me that she would have been swept up into this. Why wouldn't she be the target? She was the Secretary of State. And it goes on. Now, I am sure Politico and the Washington Compost and the New York Slimes are very, very concerned about this. And they're going to dig into it. And they're going to follow up with Hillary Clinton. And they're going to want to know all the details, not from 50 years ago, just from a few years ago. Aren't they? Hillary Clinton, remember her? Named after Sir Edmund Hillary? Was a lie. She was born before he was famous. Like their marriage is a lie, and I'm sure Politico will look into that too.